The reason that most people would choose mediocrity over greatness is because greatness comes with great responsibility. I'm not finished with that. I want to come to that. I want to take that further, but I want you to understand that. The greatness comes with responsibility. And most people are terrified of responsibility. And let me explain to you very simply, how to avoid responsibility. And then you can see if you do it, okay? One of the great ways to avoid responsibility is to talk about all the things you're responsible for. I would step into my greatness, but I've got 2 kids, I've got a husband, I've got a wife, I've got a mortgage, I've got a car, I've got to keep the job going. I can't step into that responsibility of being in my greatness. So the way to avoid responsibility is to say I'm responsible. I would follow my passion, I would follow my path, but I've got a lot of responsibilities. Men have been particularly strongly trained in this. Not men are, because that's not true about men. Men are particularly trained in this because we're trained to be the breadwinner, and so we're trained to go out, get a job, make a ton of money, find somebody to procreate with, fall in love, have a kid, and build more and more and more responsibility. And then something happens often around 45 years old for most men. It can be much younger. For me, it was at around 31. But it's called identity crisis because I'm not my responsibilities. That's a massive wake-up call. Women are smarter in their conditioning in that they actually usually get to that around 28 to 31. So if you're in that age range, ladies, please don't take offense at what I'm about to say. It's just a statement of observation. My truth, not the truth. When my friends will say that they're dating somebody who's in that age range, I'll say, please don't get married to her yet. And they say, why? Because she's discovering who she is at this point. She may not be talking to you about it at all. She may not be telling you anything about it, but she is in identity crisis because she made up who she was going to be when she was a teenager. Then she set up on a path to do it, and she got on that path very quick because women tend to not wait as long because they've got a more emotional fuel available to them than men. Not that it is more available, but they allow more of it for themselves. And they get to that 28 to 31 years old, and they go, is this what I want? Guys, well, they just get busy with a lot of responsibility, and they don't get to that until they're usually about 45. And at that point, they've either got a ton of money or they've got nothing. They've usually reached one or the other. And what that means is, I haven't got any money, this was a complete waste of time, or I've made all this money and I feel completely empty. And so, who the hell am I? But some of you maybe got the wake-up call a little bit earlier and go, oh, I don't like real estate even though I'm making 6 figures. Who gives a shit? I'm empty. There's something else for me. And it's that calling within all of us that just peaks at that point. That makes us get to that question. So this now leads into the answer for your second question, which is why does it take a crisis for us to take action to realize what's important? Because that's why. We're so responsible for keeping everything neat and tidy and making sure that everything's just right, i.e. having control over certain things, that if we stepped into our greatness, we'd have control over nothing, and we'd be responsible for being in our greatness. But we can't do that. We go, oh, I can't do that. I've got to pay the rent. I've got to pay the payments on the car. I've got to look after the kids. I've got to do these things. So guess what? I'll wait until I have a heart attack, or I get diagnosed with cancer, or until I go rock diving, which was my way, What will it take? What will it take? What will it take for you to get it, whatever it is, to make that change? So that's why it often takes crisis. Because the truth is, we're not very good with pain. I talked about pain yesterday, and I said that we get identified with our pain. You need to learn, and this is a tough one, and I don't expect anybody to really get it unless you're in it. If you're in it, you get it. But you need to learn to embrace your pain. Once you embrace your pain, you don't get stuck in it. Embrace the huge discomfort as opposed to having another drink or smoking another doobie or getting yourself busy or going to volunteer at the church or making sure that you go to the next meeting or whatever it is that eases your pain. Stop easing your pain. You want your life to change? People come to me all the time, how can I change my life, Dov? I really want to change my life. I really want things to change. Great. Stop easing your pain. But I want my life to be happier. I want more joy in my life. Good. Then stop running away from your pain. But I don't like my life as it is. It's already painful. No, it's not. Believe me, it's not painful enough because you're asking me, what can I do? If it's painful enough, you will light a fire under your ass with gasoline. Right? You'll take off like a rocket. Like a Norwegian blue. With a rocket up your ass. Monty Python. See, if you're not Monty Python, you don't get it, but I do. So you need to embrace the pain, because it's the pain that moves you. And when you embrace the pain daily, it doesn't have to be massive, because you go, this isn't good. Okay, what can I do right now? Not to ease my pain, but what if this pain is a signal that something needs to change in my life for me to move towards my magnificence? Then things start to move much, much faster. The people who are in this room who've done a lot of work with me, as I said, they've gone through many changes in their life. But the places where they've been in their pain, I've had them sit in their pain. And those are the people whose lives are tremendous now, who are magnificent, certainly by comparison with where they were. Do they still want them to get better? I hope so. Do they still want to evolve? I hope so. I trust that they do. But they're not running away from their pain anymore.